We had a question come in into the GIS question box, aka my email. Anyway, the question went something like this. I did a join and everything came up a null. What's wrong? Well, a lot of things could be wrong, but we're going to talk about a couple of the potential reasons. And I've simulated this. I don't always know exactly what your data looks like or exactly what files or shapes or tables or whatever is going on, but I can at least simulate. I've seen enough wrong things to play around. So I've got the same problem now. Funny how that works. I did a join and everything's null. So quickly, a join is where we take data that is not spatial and we attach it or we connect it with data that is spatial. In this case, I've got some country imports data and then countries as a shapefile. These are old files. You can see population 2007 in there. It doesn't matter. We're playing around with it. So don't, write a comment. Oh, that's not actually Venezuela's population. I know. It's okay. But I do have a problem. I did a join and everything is null. Now, there could be a lot of reasons for this, but when you know something isn't working, we want to get rid of it. That's the first advice. If you do a join, oh, it's null, it's not working, why isn't it? Well, I don't know how you got here. Someone who's helping you might not know how you got here. Maybe you don't have anyone to help you. So let's just get rid of it and start over from the beginning. So I'm going to right click on my countries layer. That's where I did this join. I'm going to remove all my joins. I know it's not working. I'm not losing anything by getting rid of it. Goodbye. All right, now I have at least a whole data set. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at these two attribute tables. So there's my countries attribute table. There's my imports data. Now I can see maybe a couple of columns here that I might use to join. Remember, a join works in the whole relational database framework when we have a column or a field in the shapefile and a column or a field in the data table that have the same information, and then we can connect them. So we know that, French Guiana matches French Guiana wherever it is in here, so on and so on and so on. So I have at least a couple of ideas. Country name is one. FIPS country is another. FIPS country is another. Your data could have any labels, anything that's in there. It doesn't matter if the columns or the fields have the same name. They could have completely different names, as long as the data inside them is the same. In this case, though, I'm going to use FIPS country because it's simpler. 2 characters versus however many. Don't necessarily know if I have an and an and. I don't want to mess with that. So I'm going to redo my join. So I'm going to go joins and relates. Remember, we always do the join on the spatial thing. Joins and relates, add joins. And actually, it'd probably be good just make sure I didn't do this backwards. So, okay, no joins on this. If you try to join the spatial thing to the non-spatial thing, it doesn't work. And then sometimes you forget to do that, and then it's like an infinite loop, and Arc eventually stops you. So again, if you have nulls, get rid of the joins. Just get rid of them all, make sure they're all gone. Then, so that was step 1. We did that. Step 2 is to make sure we know which columns we're joining that have the same information. FIPS country is the one that I'm going to use. FIPS country. Okay, great. Then we're going to make sure we do the join on the spatial thing. And we're going to make sure that I have FIPS country. That looks good. Countries import. Oh, perfect. That looks excellent. So you have a bunch of nulls on your join. Undo them. Make sure your join is going correctly. You can even hit validate join if you'd like. The input table has 248 and the join table has 248. Oh, that's good. I like that a lot. We'll hit OK on that just to show. All right. No nulls. You'll love to see it. Your joined column will be repeated. That's fine. It's not that big of a deal. You always hide it if it really bothers you. It doesn't really bother me, though, so I never hide things. I like to see it all. Now, another thing that could happen, I'm going to undo this join, is that occasionally Arc is a little bit picky about file type. You'll notice that I have a CSV here, file type for our tables, to clarify. I have a CSV here. The current epoch of Arc Pro here in 2023. Not a big fan of Excel files, so I don't even try them anymore. There's an awful, can you use Excel files in your version of Arc flowchart out there that's just tech flowchart horror? So I don't even use Excel files. So if you're trying to do a join with an Excel file, save it as a CSV. Try that. If the CSV doesn't, I say export this thing as a DBF. You can do that just by that little right-click maneuver that I did, right-click data, export table. If you export it without a file type, it defaults to DBF. There is my awful local temp, because I like to live on the edge. And when you do that, I'm not even going to change the name. You get a DBF file, database format, that is actually just the same information, just in a little bit different of a format. It has this advantage of having an object ID. It's indexed. And I don't know what it is, but we've just had a little bit of, whether it's memory issues or some other random bug, something like that, noticed recently that sometimes the CSVs don't cooperate either. So if you do all those steps right, remove your join with the bad nulls, make sure that you are joining the same columns or fields. And if you go through all those and you still are getting nulls, try converting that CSV to a DBF format. Just make a copy of it. That might give you success too. Past that, let me know.